These 10 films slip under the radar: quiet villages, crooked schemes, and razor-edged, unforgettable performances. Each story breaks the mold, mixing dark humor with small-town grit. Add them to your watch list because real magic hides right where you least expect it. A map, a ruler, and a pint-soaked argument, that's all it takes to fire up Finan Garu, the fictional Welsh hill at the center of 1995's The Englishman Who Went Up a Hill But Came Down a Mountain. You follow Hugh Grant, a cartographer sent by Ordnance Survey to confirm heights. The village needs 1,000 feet to keep mountain status. They're 93 short. Solution? Haul dirt, one bucket at a time, before the surveyors leave. Director Christopher Monger shot near Llanrhaeadr Mochnant. Locals filled the extras list, and the pub taps were real. Budget hovered around £6 million. Miramax handled the US release. UK numbers landed fine, but the States barely cracked $5 million. Summer '95 belonged to Braveheart and Die Hard 3, no room for a quaint comedy with an unwieldy title. Hugh Grant's tabloid scandal 2 months later buried any second-run push. Rewatch it now and feel the stubborn joy. Welsh tourist boards still plug Garth Hill, the real inspiration, as the mountain that Hollywood built. Screenwriters study its tidy 3-act spine, communities screen it on St. David's Day and at local summer film fairs around Wales today. No seismic legacy, just a steady heartbeat. Proof that small stakes and local pride can carry a feature when the jokes land and the accents stay honest. Nobody hides a secret like a small village, and in Waking Ned Devine, the whole town leans in. The shock of a lottery win takes out old Ned, but his friends Jackie and Michael quickly see opportunity. Together, they rope in every neighbor to keep up the lie and outsmart the inspector, turning a death into the wildest team effort you'll see on screen. It's not the scam that makes this one stick, but the warmth that runs through all the scheming. Kirk Jones directs with a gentle touch, never letting the humor turn mean or cynical. Most faces are stage vets or local talent, and Shooting on the Isle of Man nails that rural, lived-in feeling. When it hit the States, it got lost. No big names, no marketing muscle. Critics said it felt too small. Even now, Waking Ned Devine sits quietly in those best comfort movies lists. The jokes last, but it's the sense of community, people rallying for one of their own, that keeps it in rotation. Not every film needs big stakes to matter. The Guard, 2011, isn't your average buddy cop setup. Galway's rain-soaked backroads set the stage, but Brendan Gleeson's Sergeant Boyle turns every cliché upside down. He's blunt, unpredictable, and never follows a script. Don Cheadle comes in as an FBI agent looking for a drug ring, thinking it'll be routine. He's wrong. Gleeson steals every scene, mixing dry wit with a kind of honest laziness that somehow makes him the sharpest guy in the room. John Michael McDonough directs with a knack for letting the story breathe. 1 minute you're laughing at Boyle's deadpan delivery, the next you're in the middle of real violence and unexpected turns. The supporting cast, Mark Strong, Liam Cunningham, doesn't miss a beat. No big chases, no clean resolutions. Everything runs on chemistry and a script that trusts the audience to keep up. It crushed box office records in Ireland, but in the US it flew under the radar. Too dark, too specific, too Irish for mainstream push. Over time, though, it's picked up a cult following. Viewers who want crime stories with grit and personality instead of polish. The Guard's got rough edges, sharp laughs, and a lead performance that makes you want to rewatch just for the lines you missed the first time. Saving Grace starts with overdue letters piling up in Grace Trevethan's Cornish cottage. Widow, no income, and the bank sniffing around. When your gardener, played by stand-up veteran Craig Ferguson, mentions cannabis grows quicker than roses, the bad idea suddenly sounds practical. Brenda Blethyn grounds every beat, mixing panic with a wink, and never begging for sympathy. Nigel Cole shoots in Port Isaac on a £3 million budget, filling scenes with real villagers, so the pub chatter feels earned. The script, written by Ferguson and producer Mark Crowdy, stays small. No gunfights, no montages, just debt, gossip, and a greenhouse humming at night. Back home, the film slipped into Britain's top 10 and quietly collected $24 million worldwide. What you remember, though, are the tiny rescues. A neighbor kicking in rent money, a laugh over weak tea, Grace talking her plants like parishioners. It reminds you that survival is a team sport and mischief can be mercy in disguise, especially when the sea's the only escape route. It leaves a mellow buzz long after the credits. Forget glossy teen dramas, the snapper keeps it real with chipped mugs and Dublin slang you need a pint to translate. You drop in on the rabbits, decent working-class clan, just as 20-year-old Sharon blurts she's pregnant. No boyfriend, no plan, and no filter. Cole Meany, fresh off the commitments, plays Dad Jimmy Sr., all bluster until loyalty kicks in. Stephen Frears shot it for the BBC and RTE, thinking one-night TV, not cinema. Roddy Doyle adapted his own Barrytown novel, kept the swear count intact, so British censors slapped an 18 certificate. Ireland loved it. Cannes booked it in uncertain regard, but outside the Isles distributors shrugged. Too much talk. No exportable star. Meany still landed a Golden Globe nod, rare for a film that barely saw theaters. Budget? Under 2 million punts, that's about around $3 million back then. Today you find bootleg DVDs in Irish bars and occasional BBC reruns. What sticks is the noise. Siblings heckling, neighbors gossiping, Jimmy Sr. shouting over them all. It's messy, sometimes rough, but always rooted in family. That's what kept Irish viewers talking and makes it worth a look, even now. If you're enjoying these overlooked British and Irish gems, don't forget to subscribe to VintageVerse. You'll get fresh recommendations, hidden treasures, and movie history every week, so you never run out of great films to discover. Cold ambition drips off every frame of Gangster No. 1. Paul Bettany prowls 1960s London's underbelly, glued to Freddie May's David Thewlis until he snuffs out any rival. Then Malcolm McDowell's narration kicks in, older, colder, casting every brutal move as a confession you can't look away from. Director Paul McGuigan keeps the camera tight, minimal dialogue, maximum dread. That bathroom sequence, no score, just bone-crunching sound, proves silence and sound can land harder than any music cue. 3 weeks later, Guy Ritchie's Snatch swaggered in with its flash and rapid-fire editing, stealing audiences who wanted quips and style. Bettany's icy rise, framed by McDowell's detached voiceover, got buried under all that swagger. Now, Gangster No. 1 survives in late-night screenings and film courses, studied for how it pairs crime cinema to its raw core. You won't find smiles or redemption here, only the fallout of ambition run ruthless. Bettany never blinks, McDowell never offers comfort. It's not a crowd pleaser, it's a film that dares you to sit with its cruelty. For anyone craving a crime drama stripped of charm and drenched in menace, this one leaves a bruise you won't shake. Everything goes sideways in Intermission. Colin Farrell opens with a sucker punch and a bus hijack, but you're just getting started. Cillian Murphy's lost, chasing love, and the cast spreads out across Dublin. Crooked cops, dodgy deals, relationships falling apart. John Crowley directs, giving it that scrambled, restless energy. Marco Rowe's script stacks the stories tight. 20-plus characters, no one really safe. It hit big at home, became Ireland's highest-grossing film at the time, even outpacing The Commitments. Overseas, though, the title meant nothing, and nobody wanted Irish Tarantino. Too dark for romance, too messy for crime fans. Most Americans never saw it in theaters. The cast, now loaded with Oscar nominees, was still breaking out. Farrell hot off phone booth, Murphy before Batman Begins, and Kelly MacDonald in the middle of everything. There's no neat ending. Everything collides and splinters. You catch it on streaming now and realize how many careers started here. It's still fast, sharp, and never tries to charm you. Dublin looks battered, hopeful, and a little wild. Same as the people. Not much changed, except now it's got a reputation as the one that got away. First-time director Gary Oldman drags you into South London's grit with Nil by Mouth. You enter a Deptford flat, where Ray Winstone's character alternates between love and violence without warning. No setup, just a family trapped in cycles they cannot break. Kathy Burke won Best Actress at Cannes 1997, owning every moment when hope nearly flickers out. Oldman shot on handheld 16mm around Greenwich Tower blocks, leaning into raw texture and proving his debut has real teeth. Language hits harder than any punch. Over 400 F-bombs earned a BBFC warning that emptied theaters faster than any fight. Critics praised the honesty. BAFTA named it Best British Film and Screenplay. Yet Saturday night crowds stayed away, and UK box office barely reached 7 figures. In the US, it whispered through art house screenings instead of blasting summer blockbusters. 2 decades on, that kitchen scene still shows up in social work lectures, dissected for how addiction transforms Sunday roast into a battlefield. There is no music to soften the blows, only faces, fury, and a camera that never looks away. Gary Oldman's debut is not comfortable viewing. It stands as a brutal reminder of what home can really look like. You queue up millions and Danny Boyle flips the script on himself. Forget fast zombies. Now it's two brothers in Widdens who trip over a gym bag stuffed with nearly £250,000 days before Britain's fictional Euro swap. Damien, 7, sees Saints. Anthony, 9, sees Rolexes. Young Alex Attell and Lewis McGibbon had never faced a camera, but Boyle trusted them. Shot handheld with Anthony Dodd Mantle in 6 weeks. Mostly around disused council estates scheduled for demolition. Frank Cottrell Boyce's script leans into Catholic guilt and kid logic, then sneaks in a real armed robber hunting his cash. Pathé pushed it hard at home, won Best Screenplay at the British Independent Film Awards, yet Fox Searchlight couldn't find an American lane. Family marketing? Too odd. Adult sell? Too gentle. Domestic gross landed under $3 million, barely covering prints. Still, teachers keep screening it for ethics units. The novelization won the Carnegie Medal, and Boyle calls it his palate cleanser before Sunshine. You revisit now and remember that charity and greed can share the same bike ride. It ends small, echoes quietly still. You hit play on The Young Offenders, and get two Cork lads, Connor and Jock, who figure a bale of missing cocaine is their shot at a better life. They grab bikes and go, dodging a one-legged guard and anyone else in their way. Chris Wally and Alex Murphy sell it with nothing but attitude and cheap tracksuits. The whole thing's rooted in a real 2007 cocaine haul off the Irish coast. €440 million, most of it never found. Director Peter Foote made it for under €500,000, shot it fast, and let the accents stay thick. That's part of the charm. It broke Irish box office records for an indie and took home Best Irish Film at the Galway Film Flead. Outside Ireland, though, it barely registered. No big festival splash, no awards circuit, and Netflix stuffed it so far down the queue you'd never stumble on it. Missed in the States, no names, local humor, hard to market. But back home? Instant cult hit. They got 2 TV series, and the film still screens every year in Cork. Some stories only need a small island to last. Thanks for watching VintageVerse. Hit subscribe for more overlooked movie gems every week.